We are just about to get started with another Summit der Langrisser tournament match, this time between Sikaras and Absoul. This is a match for the top 8, so we're actually into the, the quarterfinals. So obviously the level of play is going to be pretty good here. Both of these are excellent players. I'm just going to get me links posted and make sure that there's lots of people to come and chat with y'all. And it looks like the players are just getting started in the pick band, so I will load this up as well. Okay, and we'll take a look at their boxes here. So Sikaras has... We do have a Lostum, who hasn't been banned yet. We have a Takrato. Other than that, fairly standard looking. He does go with the first pick Hilda. Absol on his side gets a first pick Watham out, which is strong. He still has Lostum available, and this is a decent map for Lostum. And this is also a fairly meta looking box. He has Oboro and Himiko, which Sikaras doesn't have on his side. So this looks like, other than that first pick Hilda, this looks like it could turn into something of a trade game. So we'll see how the players want to take it. You tend to see Hilda picked early more often as player 2 to combat some of that advantage that player 1 has on a rush. Oh, and Absol's getting his Hilda out as well. So far with the T-Jess and a D-Heart on Sikaras' side. Oh, and we are going to get to see some Lostum. This is going to be exciting. I've been cheering and hoping for Lostum to come out in these tournament games. And we don't see him often. He's banned fairly frequently, so we're going to get to see him in action. He does have some potential use against tank, so he has a guard ignore skill, obviously. His 3C can also stun, so he may decide to just go through Hilda that way. Stun can also be a strong option against Azusa, because if she's stunned, the damage reduction that she gets from her talent by forcing the enemy to attack with their weaker stat is inactivated. So Sikaras may be thinking about keeping her under guard so that she doesn't get that pre-stun. But we'll see how Absol decides to play around that. Absol also getting IBC. In this box, really only boosting the mobility for Lostum so far. But other units like the Watham can also benefit from her troop boost, so it's not totally a waste. She's also a strong unit in and of herself, obviously. So Absol with two strong choices here for 5th pick. Oboro is pretty good against a tank. Assuming he can build up enough stacks, he'll be able to circumvent that guard. But this box is fairly quick, so Sikaras may be able to get there in time before Oboro is able to fully transform. But Himiko is also fairly strong. Against Hilda, the push is off the table, but there's no healer here, so she is able to spew out some good debuffs and just generally good AoE damage. So that's a dangerous 5th pick for Absol. So the players are just both going to be setting up their positioning, their skills, and their soldiers. And then we will see what Sikaras has planned for turn 1 opening moves. T-Jess is going to get boosted by this Elwyn here. D-Heart will probably bring his 2C pseudo-faction buff to help buff this Azusa. Absol probably relying on mass attack from IBC to buff the rest of this team. Oh good, Twitch actually has this flagged as the correct game that it actually is this time. So the players definitely taking their time here during this setup phase. It's good to be thorough, especially later in the week. Who knows how they had their units set up for whatever PvE stuff they might have been doing earlier in the week. You hate to leave a unit with the wrong skills or the wrong soldiers or whatnot. It's too bad we can't see the Covenant they have deployed on this screen. So we do have that 2C on D-Heart. We got the horses on Hilda. Pretty standard everything there. Loston brought Riposte instead of his unique Guard Ignore. And we do have Sealing Technique on Himiko. There's that mass attack on IBC. And a good choice on the Crystal Molders on this Hilda, because she's got some magical threats and some horsey threats. So pretty good all-round option for her there. So what do you think, chat? After the pick and ban, who do you like here? Who do you think has the edge in Game 1 of this top 8 match? Both players with Hildas deployed. Sikaras has an Assassin or Guard Ignore in D-Heart. Absol has one in Lostum. And then basically a few utility DPS after that for both sides. I think Watham is always threatening. Like I said, the Himiko also definitely threatening against a team with limited healing. That said, T just brings a lot of incidental healing, and Elwyn can kind of take care of himself as long as he's able to move before attacking. So it's not like he's totally without heals. Just getting D-Heart into initial position here. Sikaras also does have a teleport play, so that's something for Absol to think about. Yeah, with those Hildas, we may see the action slowed down just a little bit at the start of this game. The players are going to want to jockey for position to kind of get set up for an opening. but they're not going to be in any rush to really get into each other's faces necessarily. They have their Hildas that they can kind of set up around. And the Dobermans have entered the fray. The Dobermans don't really have a horse in this race. They are pretty indifferent to whoever wins. They just like to cheer and make noise and raise hype regardless of who's playing. They will tend to cheer for whichever player deploys Jugler, which doesn't happen too much these days. Roy Lee F2P. Welcome back to the stream. Haven't seen your name around these parts in a while. Are you still playing Wang, or how are things going over there in the Netherlands, was it? Alright, Elwyn with a nice threatening position here out front. Obviously Hilda is guarding though, so if Elwyn were going to do anything, it would be just to catch one of Absol's units, or to prevent Absol from really moving too far up. Or just to try to get buff strips on that Hilda, although I think launching Elwyn in at this early stage might be a bit too early. You don't play anymore and you got married. Oh, congratulations on that. Probably congratulations on both fronts, to be honest. I do still play, and I enjoy streaming it and making my videos as usual. Yep, I haven't got sick of this game yet. So Himiko just getting herself started with that little Moby boost. Threatening some AoE on Sikaras' entire team. And he doesn't have any AoE, so Himiko can kind of move in fairly safely. She'll have her first teleport to retreat back to safety after getting hit with one of these single target attacks. The question is, if Absol decides to lead with that... Okay, we are going to see the Lostum. Getting ready to go in here for a stun on the Hilda, and then probably run back to safety. That's a great time for that, because Hilda won't become unstunned until the end of next turn. And now Lostum is back under guard, and procs a breeze as well. Absol also still has Watham available, so he can come in this turn and wreak some havoc with that Hilda stunned. Sikaras probably going to try to get this Elwyn out of danger, to be honest. He's close enough to his allies. Yeah, I was going to say, he would lose his revive if he stays there. So he's going for the buff strips on Hilda. strips everything she's got. She can't use passives. So Absol is going to want to open his turn by using her other guard skill. This is why people bring 2 guard skills on her. For just that situation. Sikaras is going to have turn priority, so he will be able to at least get 1 action to take advantage of this unguarding Hilda. Okay, Elwyn goes down, loses his first life. He's got that nasty heal reverse on. So we'll see how Sikaras wants to open here. He can't really get the Elwyn all the way back to safety anyway, so I think this Elwyn is on the way out. Yeah, unfortunately that was just as good as doing nothing with him. The pre-battle healing on a heal-reversed Elwyn just wipes out his second life. Now, Absol's turn. He can either get his guard back up or follow that kill up. Yeah, here's that Himiko AoE opener. Puts some big damage on Sikaras' whole team. And Himiko can do that with impunity because none of these units can hurt her right now. Their mobility is also pooched. I think things are looking pretty good for Absol in this one. I mean, one thing Sikaras could do is just tap her to send her back, but then Absol can easily just use his next turn putting Hilda's guard back up, so she'll be safe there. Actually, Himiko would fly back to the sword, so she wouldn't be safe unless Hilda moved up to guard, which obviously she could do fairly easily. Okay, so there's that opening tap. A couple little bursts of fixed damage. And if Absol doesn't get her under guard now, Sikaras can follow up and kill her. That said, Watham can of course teleport to these targets and kill whoever he wants, if he's content to leave Himiko dangling out here. Her skills are on fairly lengthy cooldown now. Okay, he is going to play a little bit more conservatively. Just get that guard up. No rush on the Watham teleport and kill. Hockey Can, welcome to the chat. We are just halfway through this opening match. So you haven't missed too much if you're just tuning in now. Alright, Sikaras with the kill on the first life of the Hilda. And then she picks up her ninjutsu debuffs. Alright, here comes that teleporting Watham play. He basically has his pick of the litter here. T-Jess, D-Heart. T-Jess seems to be the more natural choice. D-Heart's skill is already on cooldown, so he's not as much of a threat. Pops off Azusa's shield. And just moves the rest of the team up. Okay, so Sikaras' tank is back in action. But it's now 3-on-5, so that is a pretty unfortunate situation to be in. Azusa gets under guard and gets her shield back with that attack. Puts some damage on Lostum, but doesn't manage the kill. Yeah, D-Heart still can't be guarded, thanks to that Watham passive, so he's going down as well, and now it is basically going to be the Azusa show. Which is going to be a tough act with an IBC. Yeah, okay. Sikaras decides to throw the towel in on that one. So we're going to move on to Game 2 with Absol with a 1-game advantage already. So you can see how powerful that initial opening stun with Lostum. It ended up opening the whole game up for the rest of Absol's DPS. So first things first, we will see if either player is going to make any substitutions from their sidebox. Yeah, it's interesting. Lostum definitely has a wealth of options for being threatening to a team. With that 3C coming out and the stun coming out after Hilda had already moved, it took her out of the action for basically an entire turn or a turn and a half. But still, you hate to keep your tank's action for last. So, it's a tricky situation. Rice Crew 2, welcome back to the stream. Definitely putting some deliberation into this sidebox substitution phase here. I wonder if Sikaras feels like something about his box didn't really work for him there. No, it's Absol bringing up T-Jess, taking out Helena. So it's a nice wide open map. And Absol banning that Watham first. Sikaras decides to ban Hilda. So doesn't want to have to deal with a tank. Although it wasn't really Absol's tanking that stymied him last time. Absol getting Watham out first again. We saw how dangerous that was last game. Again, I don't think Sikaras' plan is really to play a true tank push style. Maybe if he were able to get like Sissy and Otto out, he could push up a bit more slowly with that tank and be protected, but definitely also limits your DPS. So Sikaras is getting that next step, Otto, in bulking the rest of his team. The other thing about Otto is that he can be difficult to remove himself. So, we'll see what Absol has up his sleeve. a big scary assassin. Interesting for Absol not to be committing to the lost him too early. He got him 3rd pick, I think, last time. But regardless, it's good to have certainly at least one guard ignore when you're up against a tank. Still a wealth of options here on Absol's side. There's another couple good guard ignore units, assuming you can get stacks on him. Lucretia, I still like Lucretia even against Hilda tanking, just because she's able to do so much. Probably wouldn't want to have multiple mages on this deployed team. TJS, the most value I think TJS would bring in this game would be some kind of teleport play. I'm glad she's still around. I'm glad she's still in boxes. Okay, so we may see Absol play a Defend the Oboro game. We'll see if we can get him up to 4 stacks. That's taking out a couple of Absol's remaining healing options. And Sikaras gets another Glory DPS, this time a Strong Assassin. Against no tank, he's essentially just a strong DPS unit. Hey Derek, welcome to the stream. Rocking that SP badge. Why don't you use those membership privileges and drop some jugglers in the chat? Alright, Himiko again. I wonder if that is going to prompt Sikaras to try to take the Sissy to heal off and deal with some of that AoE damage and debuffing. Yes, potentially. So 2 super strong. It's funny to see Lucretia and Werner available for 5th pick. 2 great picks for Absol. Going with the Werner. Werner v Werner is pretty nice because if you're in attack stance, you get that first strike, so you can take out a defense stance Werner with him. Just takes a little bit of the guesswork out of the equation. Werner can also pre-stun this Himiko and kill her before she's able to teleport away. Assuming he wants to bring that skill, though. Nice, thank you. I will say that did not translate very well over to the Twitch side via the Restream bot, but thanks anyway, Restream bot. So while the players are getting set up, now that there are more people here for Game 2, I'll go to the chat once again. What do you think about both these players' chances for victory in this match, given the band pick phase? We've got a little bit more of a tank push style box on Sikaras' side with Hilda, the Autocrato, who can also AoE, and the Sissy, who can bring an off tank. She can definitely heal. And we've got Absol with a couple of strong DPS who are going to probably be trying to keep that Oboro safe for at least a few turns. I want to know who you think is going to win. Phil wants to see a win with Otto. Sergio, 2 AoE characters with buff steal. Yeah, maybe they'll be stealing buffs back and forth from each other. Werner definitely a danger to the Oboro plan. Otto, certainly enough of a nuisance on his own to Epsilon as well, being able to AoE him out of his shield. It just means Epsilon can't push up with as much impunity, knowing he can be knocked out of his hide, for example. So we also have the Shield Bash. Oh, excuse me, I haven't had enough crispy watermelon water today. We have the Shield Bash here, which is one option for pre-killing this Himiko before she can teleport away. That just means that Werner didn't have to bring his Shield Bash-esque skill. So we do have the hide on this Epsilon, even though it may be knocked off him. Sealing technique again on Himiko. Other than that, everything looking fairly normal. Latonin, I'm supporting guy without tank and healer. Well, there you go. Don't see Otto often. Okay, so we have a few people in the chat who want to see some Otto action here, so let's see how Sikaras can put him to good use. Freed, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I agree, Crashing. The very limited actual DPS on Sikaras here. Now, mind you, Elwyn does have great threat range, especially against a team that has no tanks. So Elwyn's still dangerous, Werner's still dangerous, but you're really putting a lot of pressure on those two guys to carry this match. Absol, I don't think would be too upset if one of those ends up charging in, because Absol has enough DPS that he can take a trade and still have an advantage. So I think Sikaras' chances do increase as he's given time and space to move in. He does disincentivize the Epsilon and Himiko from stepping too far out, because he can just knock them out of their shield or stun her out of her teleport, although it's one character who's presenting both of those threats, so he can't do both at the same time. And if he takes his time too much, he does have to worry about this Oboro slowly charging up as well, so we'll see. It'll be interesting to see. We've got an Otto on one side, an Obo on the other side. Last game was a pretty decent showcase of Lostem, so this game may be a good showcase of one of those. I don't think that's far enough forward for 4 stacks, so he must just not be going for 4 stacks. Might figure he doesn't exactly need it. He already has 2 guard-ignoring units. So, a big buff stripper here, some AoE to prime the team, and then just an Oboro that can do a bunch of damage. Okay, so he does have Inspire to Moby boost Autocrato if needed. I was wondering where Otto's boost was going to come from. Meow, that's an interesting question. I'm not 100% sure what the rationale for these troops is. There's nothing in the way of magical threat on Absol's team. They were the troops that he had up last game, so maybe it's just a question of he forgot to change the troops before this game. Maybe I forgot to change the troops situation. Because it's not even really worth running those, like, to gamble on Werner's troop selection, because Werner's not going to be targeting your Hilda. Generally. They're going to be pretty flimsy to Watham and Oboro, whoever among them decides to attack that Hilda. I suppose that's true, Play Faster Please. I suppose they do have that that advantage against demons. But to be perfectly honest, I don't necessarily know that that totally counterbalances their overall thinness. I'm sure better players than me have tested, but I have a feeling that something like Phalanx would end up being stronger against demons even with that tech. The real danger of this Watham attacking into her anyway is stripping her buffs. So yeah, it's not so much like surviving with slightly more soldier HP, for example. Absol is exercising some restraint, staying back a little bit. Kind of jockeying for position and catching those breezes. So exerting a little bit more map influence. This Oboro may end up being bait, too. Because he knows that Sikaras wants to stick around near his tank and healer. But if he has to send someone like Werner up here, or Elwyn up here, most likely Werner, to take that Oboro out, and then if Absol's able to trade for him, then Sikaras is down to 1 DPS. The other thing is, Sikaras is also starting to get low. This is not dangerously low, but he is starting to get low on backup time. We are just in round 2 here. So if things start to get sticky in the middle of this map, and he needs to spend some time counting tiles, he's going to want some of that backup time available. Alright, Epsilon running back, just topping up his breeze there as well. So he's still exerting some pressure on the middle of the map. More importantly, he definitely still has Oboro covered from up here. Alright, the auto deciding to go north. Really just to smack the Himiko. So she's gonna have to move. No clock, obviously. But no scramble. That means for the next 5 turns, Absol can also feel free to move his Epsilon up, because he doesn't need to worry about his shield getting popped. And putting the sealing technique on him means he can't stun her this turn either. So that's the only threat to her off the table, and the only threat to him largely delayed. Shouldn't say the only threat to him, but a deterrent against his shield. Okay, so here goes Watham, getting launched already. I guess the play here is going to be another buff strip attempt on this Hilda, because, yeah, I feel like that's kind of a waste just to kill that Lancer. Although I suppose getting the kill does spray out the talent debuffs, so not totally a waste. Elwyn and Sissy both got the debuff. Otto as well, but he's kind of outside the action. Silenced. Okay, Wetham lives, so he may be able to take advantage of those debuffs. Who's he gonna go for? Can he kill Elwyn? Obviously it would mean Elwyn wouldn't revive since he's too close to his team. But that Watham is pretty hurt. Can he even reach? I don't know if you can reach Watham. I rely on the game lighting up nice glowing squares to tell me if you can. I don't think he can get across all this terrain to get down here. Alright, so he's just going to stick with the auto. Not going to kill it. But that is one hurtin' auto now. No boots on the ham either, so he can't move back onto a nice protective tree here. So Himiko gets to do the mean thing that she wanted to do all along. Splashes this team with debuffs. If Sikaras tries to heal, then that auto is gonna die. Oboro, meanwhile, sitting back here on the sidelines, just smirking to himself, waiting for someone to come threaten him. This is a tough situation. I mean, Elwyn can reach this, but then he has these two things to deal with. Elwyn could also make an attempt on this. He wouldn't have last rites up now. And he's not... Oh, he is already on forest terrain, so he didn't need to move up to that forest terrain. So that might be a tough kill for Elwyn as well. But he does have grassland here, and he wouldn't be beside an ally, so he would have his revive again. Some tough choices for our friend Sikaras here right now. Okay, popping the Himiko teleport just sends her just up to the sword. That leaves room for Elwyn to follow up. But I don't know if Himiko's necessarily the most valuable pick for that Elwyn. Alright, as promised. Epsilon putting himself right into the midst of the action now. I don't usually know on the fly how Oboro's post-transform movement works. Meow? This is scary. Alright, it's time to bring Oboro into the action, though. Looks like he can. Elwyn gets some healing. But that post 3C explosion is enough to kill a no revive Elwyn. That pretty much seals it. Yep, and Sikaras calls it. So just kind of overwhelmed by DPS there. That was one of the interesting things. I kind of expected Sikaras to play more of a straight-up trade game, and the fact that he basically saddled himself with a few units who aren't DPS means that Absol was able to basically kill someone and then overwhelm by steamrolling, bringing more DPS in, killing units off. So that is a fairly convincing 2-0 win for Absol in the top 8. That means Absol will be moving on to the top 4. Not sure exactly what his matchup is going to look like. We have more top 8 matches still to come. And I will be streaming them. We have another one tomorrow. I think it's Luxid's match tomorrow. And then I think Aranoa is playing on Saturday. Play faster, please. I believe you're playing Zanson at some point, either today or tomorrow. I haven't seen that one scheduled yet. But depending on what time it is, I'll probably pick it up. So definitely still some excellent Summit der Langrisser action to come. Oh, it's Luxid and Meow tomorrow. Oh, that'll be a really good game. So yeah, definitely... I don't know what you do on Twitch, like follow or subscribe. Give me your free Prime subscription so you can get a notification when those matches start. On the YouTube side, you know already, like, subscribe. Click that little bell, which I guess signifies like ringing a bell in your ear when I come online and start streaming these matches so you can rush to your screens and watch some excellent PvP getting played. So do all that stuff. We'll have definitely 3 more really good matches in this top 8 yet to come. And then we'll be into the semifinals. So thanks for watching this. I might be back later tonight with another casual Ancient Beckoning stream. I don't know, I'm kind of feeling trying my hand at Needhog again, especially since I don't need to wait through those interminable slime phases anymore. Gonna try a new strategy with Balder blowing up all the slimes all at once. So if you're interested in just hanging and have some PvE on in the background, tune in then as well. Okay, everyone, thanks so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one, whether that's today or tomorrow. Happy Langrissing, everyone.